Hi, I'm Alex, and this is Books and Paperbacks. I read 11 books in December with a grand total of 90 books for 2022, so today I have my December wrap-up. If you're new to my channel and my wrap-ups, I don't give star ratings, so I will just be reviewing the books in this video. If you're here for a specific book, you can check my chapters, but I also will have the titles of every book in the description with an affiliate link if you want to help support my channel. Let's get started. This year, I did Vlogmas again, and I had so much fun, so thank you so much to everybody that tuned into the videos. My playlist will be down below if you want to watch it. The first book I read was a novella called Grounded for Christmas by Daisy Landish, and this is about two women who are stranded in an airport. This is one of my favorite tropes. I love it so much, and I thought this was fine. I enjoyed it, but it was so short that I just thought it was sweet. And that was it. If you want a short book about two women who are stranded on Christmas, one is a musician, and I just thought it was a cute meet cute, but I didn't get enough because it was only 23 pages, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. For round 10 of the Queer Lit Readathon, I started off with the audiobook Fierce Femmes and Notorious Liars, a dangerous trans girl's confabulous memoir by Kai Chen Thum, narrated by Audrey Almeida. And this was for the prompt Trans Femme. I loved this book so much. It's gonna be in my best books of the year. Spoiler, but it's gonna be in there because it's so good. It is definitely one of my favorite reads that I read in December. I just thought this was so great. It has a messy trans girl who is just honestly trying to figure herself out as she is running away from her abusive family. She finds a group of trans femmes and they become united to take down their oppressors. It is rebellious, it's liberating, and I loved it so much. You know I love trans rage books, so I was destined to love this one. Content warnings for police brutality, death, gun violence, murder, and transphobia, because there is a lot of violence going on in this book because it is about rebels and trans women who are like this brigade of people who are just trying to take down the man. Next, I read the audiobook of American Dreamer by Adriana Herrera, narrated by Sean Kristen, which is published by HarperCollins. Due to the HarperCollins union strike, I am withholding reviews for HarperCollins titles until they receive a fair bargain. It's been 46 days. Check the link in my description. What the fuck? I also read American Christmas by Adriana Herrera, narrated by Sean Kristen, which is the last book in the Dreamer series, and I am withholding my review because this also is published by HarperCollins. Next, I read the novella To Touch the Light by E.M. Lindsay and fell in love with this book. This is a romance between a trans man named Mario, who is a chef at a resort, and this is an age gap romance with his dishwasher Vitya, who is a undocumented immigrant from Russia who is a dishwasher at this resort, and it was so cute. I really love the sex scenes because they were written with care, and honestly I think this is the first romance I've read that like actually has sex scenes and is with a trans man, and I honestly just felt so happy reading this representation. I cannot wait to read more in this world. It is the Iron and Works world. There's a tattoo shop, and I ended up getting Kindle Unlimited, and I love it because I find hidden gems like these. So I'm going to be reading this author's whole work, and I can't wait because I love it so much. I also want to point out that Vitya is visually impaired. This also has a focus on Hanukkah. We are following Mario as he is trying to have a Hanukkah dinner at the resort, and he's getting a lot of pushback for it, and I just loved him as a character, and I hope I get to see more of him in the future. Also on Kindle Unlimited, I read The Geek Who Saved Christmas by Annabeth Albert. This is a Grumpy Sunshine age gap romance between two men who are neighbors, and we have Paul, who is our Grinch character. He doesn't want to do anything for Christmas, and he associates it with grief. His parents died when he was in his 20s, and so he became the sole caregiver for his younger brother. And when his younger brother is going to come home with his girlfriend and propose to her, he has to make everything correct. If you've ever watched Christmas with the Cranks, this is like the book equivalent, but it's gay, and it's not offensive. This was such a good Grumpy Sunshine. I will say though, there was just a lot of sex scenes. I didn't like that we didn't have like the balance. Like, there was just a lot, and by the end I was just kind of bored. I was like, okay, I think we can just wrap this up now. Like, I don't really need more of it. I liked the epilogue and all, but I feel like it just could have been skimmed down a little bit, and we didn't need to have the second half of the sex scenes. This was really a cute romance, and I just enjoy reading older characters. I feel like I don't do that enough, and so that is something I want to continue doing. So this was just a cute romance of two men that are trying to get in the Christmas spirit, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute, but like I said, the sex scenes were a lot. I just like a balance. I don't want to just have a bunch of sex all the time. Next, I read The 30 Names of Night by Zane Jukuda for my reading vlog, where I have an advent calendar pick my TBR. I have been doing this for the last couple years now, so I will have a whole playlist down below if you want to catch up and you just ended up missing that video. It's one of my favorite to do. This is following a Syrian American trans man who is on the search for his new name, and I really enjoyed the way that name was represented in this whole book. The chapter headings have the name of the character, but for Nadir, our main character, his is actually scratched out. So anytime his dead name is referenced, it's always scratched out, and I thought that was really cool. We also have a woman who is a famous painter. Her name is Lila Z, and she has been missing, and so it's a mystery, it's historical fiction about immigration, and it is such a beautiful book. I'm so glad I got around to it. In that video, I also read Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. I really wish I had written a review after I read this book, because I read this so fast that now I kind of forget it, and so I'm going to just put the pieces together as best as I can. I really enjoyed this. I did review it in my advent calendar vlog, so like I said, you can go and watch that, but this has really good anxiety rep, but it can be triggering because you're reading her inner thoughts. But it is a really good rom-com. This is a queer rom-com with the second chance romance, marriage of convenience, and fake dating, following Ellie, who is at rock bottom. She's at one of her lowest points working at a coffee shop when this man asks her to pretend to be his fiance because his grandfather died and put him in the will to get the inheritance, and so the only catch is he has to get married. So he asks her if she will pretend to be his wife. She ends up saying yes in a turn of events, and she ends up at a cabin with his family when this woman who broke her heart walks in. Last Christmas, she was snowed in Portland. She met this woman named Jack. They fell in love and they never saw each other again. And so this is such a great rom-com. I'm so glad I read this. It was so good. I loved the anxiety rep, though it can be triggering. So anyone who has anxiety, please be careful with this book just because it can be a little triggering. Personally, I got really triggered on the ski lift scene because one, I have a fear of heights, and two, I have anxiety, and I also visualize everything when I'm told something or reading something, so it was just a ball of anxiety in that moment. But I really enjoyed it because it just felt so realistic, and it was hilarious. The grandmothers were funny. It had a lot of great conversations about wealth and classism and a toxic parent. Ellie's mom is very emotionally abusive and toxic, so I also want to point that out because that can be triggering for some. But overall, I really enjoyed this and I'm really glad I read it. It was such a quick read, and I'm so glad because I do have the Charm Offensive, so definitely looking to get to that in 2023. Then I finally finished my audiobook, A Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, and oh my god, this book was so fucking amazing. I'll be talking more in depth about this book come February, so I am gonna save my thoughts, but just know I loved it. I'm so glad I finally got to read this. It is a phenomenal YA coming of age and mystery thriller set in 2004 in Southwest Michigan, following an Ojibwe girl, Donis, who witnesses the murder of her best friend. and she ends up helping 2 officers solve the case of a drug epidemic in her area. Secrets are revealed as Donis grieves the loss of her best friend and a lot of her loved ones. And the last 2 books I read, I also have a vlog for. This is my end of the year reading vlog, and I read The Deepest Breath by Meg Graham. I read this so fast. It is written in verse. It's a middle grade about a girl who develops a crush on a girl in her class, Chloe, and it's her trying to figure out what that means, and the anxiety rep is really good. And what I loved most is that the parents and adults in this book do not tell her she's wrong. I talk about this way more in my vlog, but I did say I wish I had this book. It is so great, and I'm so glad it exists. And the final book I read in 2022 was the audiobook of The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert, narrated by Colonel Collins, and I had a time with this book. The audiobook I hated. I did not like this man's voice at all. It was just so silly. It almost felt like a court jester was reading the book. Someone on Goodreads equated it to the Count from Sesame Street, and so I would also agree with that. This is a royalty marriage of convenience and fake engagement set in England and Finland, following the Prince of Finland, Ruben, who meets a woman named Cherry, and during their one-night stand, the paparazzi finds him, photographs him, and he blurts out that she's his fiance. And so Cherry ends up agreeing to the fake engagement because she needs money for her sister to complete school and for medical bills since her sister lives with sickle cell disease. In the end, I thought this was a cute story, but I just need to read it physically because the audiobook just had me so confused. And so that is everything I read in December of 2022. Let me know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts are, and if not, you can just leave an emoji down below so I know you stayed. Thank you so much for supporting all my content this year, and I will hopefully get my best books of the year out soon. Bye.